Good evening. This is Rooster coming to you live, day three. Uh, it's about 7:50 p.m. right now. So I had a little bit of issue. I came back to the room, and my doggone smoke detector was chirping. So I called down. It took about 2 hours for them to not reply to me. I just walked down there, and he said he got really busy. So just asked for a couple of 9-volt batteries, and I got it working. So, with that being said, day three. Day three is pretty simple. So, on day three in the classroom, you do your logbook test. So, the logbook test was the only test that was timed. The other tests were not timed. So, this one, you have 45 minutes and it was 70 questions. So, it's the longest test and the only test that's timed. Um, I don't want to give away too much secret sauce, but pay attention during the class. Pay attention during the class. They're going to have your logbook sheets and the graph that you draw your lines on and everything. Um, Pay attention in the class. Okay. So with that being said, that test the longest, the only one that's timed. So Wednesday is basically your final day of testing. So when those tests come out, you have to have a. I think I talked about this the other day. You have to have an 80 average across all your scored tests. Um, and today was the last test. So actually, I take that back to Friday. We're doing load securement, and we have a load securement test that's a written test, and is I'm assuming it's questions about um, binders and chains and tarps and um, winches and how many chains or straps are needed per footage. I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be. So that is not timed. And basically that's the last test. But today, if you don't make it, if that's 80 today, you had till 1600 to complete those tests, and then you have to 07 tomorrow to complete the non-scored. So we got everything finished today. Um, so the reason I'm bringing all this up, you have to have an 80 average. Um, One person in our class scored below 60 on the test today, and another scored in the 70s on that test today. Like I said, that test, because it's timed, and if you don't get whatever questions you don't answer in the 45 minutes, they're wrong. So let's say you get to test number 50, test question number 50, in the allotted 45 minutes, you've missed 20. So that test, um, you need to pay attention to the class. Um, so, anyways, so those brought down some of the averages. Now we did have one other incident. So I think it was Monday in the class. Our instructor said, "Hey, there's a lot of videos that you have to watch. Some of these videos are more than half an hour long, and there may be a total of 45 or 50 videos in total that you have to watch." So he gave us the information to log in online from the hotel. Now, your recruiter in your orientation package, it says don't bring any laptops or tablets or electronics because TMC is not going to be responsible if they get stolen because they don't own this property. So, none of us bring laptops. So, the only thing that we have to work with is our phone. And it's like, hey, read all this and take a test on your phone. It's very small. Anyways, so with that being said, there is one test, which is the test that we took today, which is the logbook test. When you're in the classroom environment and you're going through all the selections online, it says, do not take this test. This is the logbook test. Do not take this test. If you click on that link, it says, do not take this test. You can't take this test until you have completed the logbook classroom portion. You won't understand this test. Do not take this test. If you click that link, it brings up another banner and it says stop, I think 10 times. Stop with exclamation points. Stop, 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 stop. Do not take this test. You are not ready. Well, we had one individual in our class that apparently, when he was clicking through everything, that test, and I can't verify now because we can't do it, but that test on the phone version, the mobile version, you don't get that pop up. You didn't get that message, or maybe the banner was higher or lower, and that wasn't popping up on the phone. So this person hit the button, went into the test, and then saw inside of the test that this is the logbook test, and he had previously remembered seeing the banner on the desktop that said, don't take the logbook test because you haven't taken the logbook class. So he backed out of the exam, never answered a single question. Well, as I mentioned today, a little bit ago, the exam is timed at 45 minutes. He backed out, never answered a question, was unaware that it was timed, and the time was running. So we went to take the exam today. He can't get into it. He now has a 0 for that test. So there was some conversation. Needless to say, after some politicking and some other things, he was able to retake the exam. But if you see that exam, it says do not take, this is a logbook. If you see anything that says logbook, just do not even try to click on it. Don't go into it. Don't be curious. Do not click on it. Okay? And the information that was passed to him when they went to take the exam, it was basically, this thing has do not enter all over it. Multiple locations, multiple big stop signs, multiple flashing lights, multiple everything that says do not enter. You entered it anyways. You're not a fit. That was basically the message that was relayed. So I'm telling you now, do not click on that test. Okay? That's out of the way. Now, as far as yard time today, we did straight back. Obviously, pre-trip. We do pre-trip every single day, morning, noon, and night. We'll never stop pre-trip. So pre-trip. But we did straight back, and we did the pull forward and stop in the box. And our trainer is basically telling us that we're actually further along in our training than normal, that the stop in the box is normally not taught until Monday. Like I said, we've only got 5 people in our class, and we're going morning, noon, and night. So we're kind of moving along. And then they're saying that for us, starting next Monday, we'll basically just be a 2-man team in a truck instead of 5. So we'll have 3 trucks. So we'll be zooming along in no time. So with that being said, it is a pretty slack day today, other than all the tests. And we watched the logbook videos for almost 2 hours worth of videos. And anyways, but yeah. So day 3, not very complicated. But again, it's the day that your grade point average is accumulated and everything. So just a reminder, you need to have an average of 80. So, and it tells you right after the exam what your score was. So as long as you're scoring 80 or above, or have an average of 80, you'll be fine. And then the yard work today. So tomorrow is going to be day 4. We're doing our trip planning tomorrow. So with that, we have to have our motor carrier Atlas. Like I said before, I got the one that can fold flat. It's laminated. It's got everything. So if I were you, I would just pay a couple extra bucks, get the spiral edition. That way you can lay it flat. You can fold it in half. You can do all that stuff. It just makes it easier to use, especially in a truck. But that's tomorrow. And then we have our load securement and the load securement test. And then after that, we're basically just on the yard all day, every day. And same thing, because we're the the CDL class, we're here 3 weeks. So this first week was basically classroom, and then the yard work that we've been doing. But basically tomorrow, after our trip planning, we're not in the classroom anymore. We're strictly on the securement, and then we're on the yard. So things should be going a lot faster. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, send them to me, and I'll try my best to answer. All right, thank you. Have a great night.